Anta fam, happy Monday. Okay, guys, so here is Bitcoin sitting at the 88,500. And as you can see, the next block is sitting around 95,000. So the market has been chopping, but what we're getting ready for now is the squeeze at any point, right? Basically, this hated rally that comes out of nowhere and just catches everyone off of guard. Plus, this rally just continues and continues and just does not pull back. And what that does is it really traps those who got flushed out. Okay, those who possibly gave up on crypto, it really puts them in a tough place because what now, right? Bitcoin's back at 95, Bitcoin's back at 100. We're not pulling back. I'll start to kick in because as you could see next, you can see that the altcoins start moving. And when the altcoins start moving, then you get the whole market to start waking up. So again, altcoins are broken out of the trade and they have not started their short squeeze. However, Bitcoin is the one that we always see as the leading horse. Okay, and the altcoins follow Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is really making tracks. Okay, firstly, again, we dropped up to the low 70,000s. Now we're sitting at 89. So I want to speak about the short squeeze. I want to speak about the pop to the late 90,000s, the 95 to 90 to $99,000. That's where we're seeing a lot of liquidity. I want to speak about the altcoin breakouts. There are a bunch of alts that are starting to wake up now, right? Casper that we spoke about last week is starting to pop nicely. There's fart coins going crazy. I want to speak about it, right? Sonic is breaking trends right now. Polygon, which was Matic, is breaking trend right now. So the altcoins are now starting to break the trends. And all we need next is the pop of the high and the major short squeeze. So guys, let's prepare. Let's prepare now for the week. Let's prepare for the short squeeze. And again, it is time to make money again, right? So when this market starts moving again, make sure we are focused, make sure we're on the best, hottest coins, make sure we are smarter, make sure that we are ready, and let's get our damn money back. So guys, I hope you enjoyed your Easter. Lots of love to you all. Hope you got some time off with the family and just had a great weekend. But now it's focus time. Let's go.
I try and help everyone in my space, and this is what I get. I try and fight the devils, but inside I'm just like sniper. Welcome to Shell the Show.
And to fam, what's happening? Guys, you have a good weekend. How was the weekend? I see we're 70% bullish. How was the weekend? Are you getting some rest? Okay. I want to ask you a question. Who's made good life-changing decisions outside of crypto in the last 3 months? Who has used this hard period to make life better outside of crypto? I want to see it in the chat, right? I want to see who has who's taken this to damn get themselves prepared. Never lost doubt or hope that we were not going to make the money back or anything like that, or that we even in a bull market or not. Basically said, hey, I'm going to use this time to just get my ass better, right? Get myself back into track. I want to see. Too much tequila. Oh, yeah. We all learned lessons. But none again, guys. We're on the other side now. Rewards will start coming. We always say it's very clear. You know, the money will move from the impatient to the patient. Right? That's what happens. The only thing is now, and it's quite sad to see, okay, people cannot handle 3 months of hard pressure. The moment you put people under pressure, run away. Run away back to safety, run away back to your job, run away back from the freedom life that you have right now, or the possibility you have next, right? We kind of run away back to what we know and what we think is comfortable, because anytime we get burnt, we get scared. Guys, I love getting burnt. I get burnt all the time. I'm sitting on a tweet right now that might make me quit YouTube in 3 months, right? Why? Because I love the uncharted territories, right? I don't have afraid. And the goal is to get burnt once, okay? And then to better yourself from that. And every time you get burnt, get better, right? That's how I live my life. But don't tell me I get burnt all the damn time. I put myself in that deep end, okay? And that's what grows you as a person. So don't allow these hard times, or I think the hard times are actually gone. We're kind of used to it now, but don't allow this to kind of flake you away. This is how you grow. This is how you pass the level. If you ask every single successful millionaire, billionaire, all of them, the first level was the hardest, right? The one to get through these major patches. And there was many times they were broke. There was many times they had nothing. Many times they lost 99% of their money. Many times their mental health was destroyed. Many. But this is the key level to break. You break through this, you start trending in life. And we start trending in life, you will learn higher lows, higher highs, right? You can have your bad patches, but make it better than the last one. Right? And keep doing that throughout your journey, and you got it. Okay, guys, so let's jump straight into it. Let's quickly go through a couple of things. Big thing, again, is I have school in 5 hours. Join Sniper School, 5 hours. We got a cool thing happening for you guys today. Right below in the show description, you will find the YouTube. First 1,000 that sign up over there, that get themselves in, can watch me live today for school events. I'm about to blow your brains. I'm about to teach you so much alpha that's going to help you so much within this market. Okay, again, Sniper School is free, does not cost you anything, but now we've opened it up to you guys for the main welcome event. However, you will not get through to the Thursday event unless you've verified in the next day. So you have welcome to come to today's event. It is in 5 hours time. Go below, straight in the description, click on the Sniper School link over here, and you'll also find the welcome event. There's the Zoom. First 1,000 will get access. Okay, the rest can watch the recording on the Crypto School Zoom. Okay, guys, let's jump straight into it. So weekly is starting to look better on Bitcoin, right? It's starting to look better. And I want to show you guys this over here as well. Is what always happens is when you kind of have the sharp dump. We say that when the dump comes or when the final kill move comes, we usually get to the end, right? So it's the same thing of like when price was going slowly, and then went really fast, and then it got to an end, right? And it's the same thing that when price starts coming down, okay, it basically goes down fast, sideways, and then comes to an end, right? So we always want to pay attention that when a big move is happening to the down or the up, we kind of chill a little bit. Then what happens is the bears that were holding this level, that got price to go down, right? All the sell pressure, they then move over here, okay, and they sit over here. Therefore, when price drops, it kind of sits there for a little while. Why? Because what you don't know is that wall that was there has moved down over here. So there is a lot of selling pressure, a lot of a very big wall that kind of stops price from going up at those certain levels, right? Why? Because as long as the chart is doing this, the red team knows that they are winning, right? Because every time they're basically conquering the land, they are conquering that once they get through that level, okay, let's hold that level. Once you get through the next level, let's hold that level, right? So the wall keeps moving down as price starts to move, and that's how they kind of keep it going in that direction. They kind of keep it moving for as long as they start pushing, as long as they keep breaking the levels. But now all of a sudden, you get something where we get ourselves back up over here. So the first thing you could see here that's different between the downtrend is we're now starting to move in this little slowdown period. And this is the area to pay attention to, because remember, this is where the wall is sitting. Okay, but what you must also know is there's two teams here. So the one team started winning when it lost that level over there. Then what it do is it moved down over there, right? So what it means now is if they continue to hold this level, damn right, they could go to the next level, right? And that's for the bear team. But all of a sudden, if the green team comes in and reclaims this level, their wall is now gone. Therefore, what happens next now is you start to see that the upwards team, the green team, now starts to pass its levels. Okay, and that's what you start to see. Okay, so where we are right now is we are here. We're at this big zone here where we're sitting between the bulls and the bears, right, in the zone over here. And that's what we've got to pay attention to. And then what's next is after this, you can see that there's a really big high that's on the left here. And once we get through there, we're going to go to where the next wall may be. However, the big thing to understand with this right now is the bigger wall is sitting over here. It is not sitting at 100,000. 100,000, they had their time to have the big wall, right? That big wall has moved down. It has shifted down over here. Therefore, this is the critical one to get through. Once we get through this one, it's quite a nice free move over there. And then once we get through there, we can really start popping. Okay, so again, just explaining to you the mentality of why the market kind of went sideways for 5 weeks after making the lows, after getting to the low areas of 70,000. Okay, first thing yet again is we turned this into support. Okay, so again, if you zoom out, I just explained to you the levels. Okay, if you look at this right now, and let's actually go to another chart quickly over here. Okay, I want to show you this over here. Okay, is look at the first sign here. When we lost this level over here, you could see how the bears turned this into resistance. Boom, right? So they kind of hold the thing. And then when they got here, the bears moved over here. Then what happens after that? Look how we broke and the bulls reclaimed. Okay, then we broke through the next level and look how it reclaimed. Right? Broke the next level and look how it reclaimed. Okay, so before you lose too much hope, understand, we are really reclaiming. Right? And not only are we reclaiming, we are testing the previous highs. Therefore, it was quite crazy to get. Yes, it was hard. We cannot deny this was a very tough period, especially with altcoins. But you got to understand that we still hold great supports. And therefore, this is where the bounces are getting ready to happen. So again, we turned that big area over there to support. Now what we're looking at is that wall to get us trending again, because the bears are kind of on their last resort now. Okay. Now what's interesting next is you look at the stochastics over here. Okay, well, let's just before the stochastics, let's quickly speak about the candles. We are now printing our third green candle over here, and it's important that this candle breaks this high over here and this low here. If so, it's very likely Bitcoin can be in the late 90,000 by the end of the week. If not, okay, then we're very likely to reject. So again, this is an area here, and I'll speak about the levels to the downside, but it's a big moment here. This is why you don't want to lose focus now, because if this pops off over here, okay, not only is it going to bring hype back to Bitcoin, but it's going to give some relief to the market again to allow altcoins to move again. Why altcoins have kind of struggled for those last while is because, markets all around the world have been pretty tough, and people are going to kind of always jump to Bitcoin as safety, right? But the moment that, Bitcoin is boring but safe, right? It's a little bit slower but safe, and it's boring to us. But Bitcoin actually around the world is one of the most volatile assets, right? But to us, it's quite boring. But the moment that there's confidence in the markets and there's calmness within the markets, people fly straight into altcoins. So it kind of means Bitcoin's got to get to that safe territory. So again, that reversal candle that we saw 2 weeks ago was good. Okay, the volume that came in was good. Okay, and look now how the volume is just tapering down and we're pushing up. And what that means is there's a volume spike incoming. There's a rejection or a big ass breakout that is incoming, right? The volume is telling this. Okay, that right now volume hasn't even hit the beta, and obviously we just started the week off now. Okay, but when the volume kicks in, that's where we're really going to see a strong move. So it's telling us that a strong move is incoming. Now, the next thing that's also important, guys, is if you look at the stochastics, right? The stochastic basically shows that when you're at the bottom here, it can chop for a while. But it does tell you that when stochastics leave this 20% mark, the market gets out of sideways and goes trending again, right? Which means none of this choppy crap anymore. Let's start moving in one direction again, right? That's what we want to see. We want to start seeing us moving straight again, then chop a bit, then straight again, but get back into that motion again, right? And the RSI is telling us that that is coming at any point now. It's telling us that, hey, get ready. If we exit here within this week, Bitcoin's going to start trending again. And I just highlighted over here the last 4 times that we did start when we went from a really oversold position over here. This time over here, we broke through, and it was a nice little rally from Bitcoin to 50 to the late 70,000s. Didn't get a higher high, though. That's what we're going to speak about. When this pump happens here, we must make a higher high. If we don't, then we can finally offload a little bit of take profit onto our bags. They'll be a little bit more recovered by then. Okay, but that's the goal. But you see here, push up. The next one's over here. You can see the moment that we left 20%, Bitcoin started trending again. The moment we left over here, Bitcoin started trending again, right? And this previous time over here, the moment we left 20%, we started trending again. So this is just telling us yet again that, hey, so far we are seeing good signs that the bottom can be in of this pullback. We are seeing the good signs. However, this is the last big box we need to tick. We need to break out of this resistance over here and get our butts back into the late 90,000s. We do that, very likely bottom is in. Not only that, very likely in the next 3 to 4 months, we should see a higher high within Bitcoin. And the next target again is $140,000. Okay, remember, if that comes over here, we're no longer sad anymore. We're no upset. We kind of goldfish. We forget about it. We all go bullish again. And it all basically is it resets, right? So again, that's the facts over here when it comes to the high time frame. And it's the same with the altcoins, right? Altcoins, yet again, if you look at them over here, they are, because you got to look at the whole world, and because there's so much other external things that are happening when it comes to really creating fear, yes, altcoins will take a little bit more of the brunt of it. And it definitely did. Right, but we still got to look at the facts. We still got to look at that altcoins are still turning these previous highs here into support zones, right? These previous highs over here. Not only that, we also did it the time before over there, right? So they are the more volatile, but let's not deny yet again that altcoins are actually still strong, okay? And they are still very much in trend over here, which tells you that altcoins are in a very, very, very big buy zone. Now, the next thing yet again, okay, is we're not seeing a crazy amount of volume telling us volume spike is incoming at any point. We need to pop through this trend, which we have. Now what we need to do next is break through these highs over here, and altcoins will start setting themselves into the zone over here. Guys, this is just an example over here. If we go back over here, this is ETH back at 2.8, right? This is Solana back at 200, 220. This is your chain links and all of that are kind of back. Where is my link over here? Chain links back at 25. These are things to start coming back. Yes, I think it's very much time to drink tequila. And what we mean by that is I think it's very much time to buy. And I even think it's time to start trading today. I think it is time. I promise we'll forget quickly. We will. You got to remember, this compared to this. This was a little bit longer and a little bit more depressing. Okay, so we have been through this, but yes, it passes. It does pass. Okay, and luckily we didn't do too much damage that we have to do this. I think that's the big thing we got to pay attention to. This market can actually recover from here and actually be recovered in 3 to 6 months, right? It can actually go quite crazy at any point. Okay, not enough damage was done to know that we're going to go in a 2-year sideways cycle, because that's the hardness, right? That's if we started losing here and going here, then we are really set for a hard next year within crypto. We still hold the trends and we still actually trending. Therefore, if you look at alts, this is there. If you look at altcoins, this is currently what it is looking like, right? So just to show you over there, that is the pattern that it's in. And it's still in a higher low. It's not in the side trade range. And obviously, Bitcoin is looking way more bullish. Okay, guys, another sign over here, just before we jump into it over here. Dominance is looking strong, but I'm just looking at this damn RSI on this weekly, and that is like tapped out. This thing is at 100% overbought. Now, it may sit there for a little week, too, but this thing is going to drop on, I don't know what, maybe a news event or whatever it may be, but there is a hard ass dominance drop incoming. And not only is it a hard one, it is one that's going to happen for about 2 months. Okay. Again, this RSI will tell you get ready. Right. But ultimately, from here, at any point, we are going to see this hard drop off. And just to remind you again that the last best altcoin pump we saw was because of that, in November. So again, this dominance, I'm looking at it on the high time frame here. It can go to 70, which will be quite crazy. Okay, but nonetheless, keep holding out with the altcoins. They will move with Bitcoin, but that cliff is coming. And when that cliff comes, it's going to look something like this, and it's going to blow your damn brains. It's going to make you be so proud of yourself for sticking out the hardest times within crypto, and you will get rewarded. Okay, let's jump straight in here to short time frame. Here is the big wall that I'm talking about. The wall is sitting at $89,000. After that, we have $95,000, and then we have $100,000. Okay, so again, this big wall that we are seeing in front of us over here now, that is the big wall that we held for so long on Bitcoin. We held it for many, many, many weeks, and then we lost it. Okay, and we saw a little bit of a we saw a little bit of a capitulation. Right, capitulation events happen. Now we're straight back at that zone. So what I'm also tracking over here is a little trend at the bottom, but let's give you the play. So here is the first play for today. Okay, and I'm going to speak about a rejection. Right, this is the first play over here. For me, let's speak about a rejection, just because the market likes rejecting at resistance at this point. That's what it looks like, right? Little rejection, straight down into the mid 80s, and then we go. Again, it's about, does it have enough power now to get to $100,000? That's the question. If not, it will have a short-term rejection. That means mid this week, we will have some good news and something will start popping off very quickly over here. It's sitting right in the resistance now. Okay, that's the one scenario. So that is a pullback scenario. Okay, what that looks like on your altcoins is like this. It will just hold the lows that it's been making now for the last couple of days. Okay, so not much more damage. Okay, so you can look at here as ETH as an example. ETH just goes straight back to 1,550. Right, you're sitting in this 2-3% range. Alts are kind of ranging. You could see it all here on a bunch of the alts. They're all just ranging sideways and these type of things. So not that much damage if the pullback does happen over here. Okay, the next play over here on Bitcoin is we break through it. If we break through it, then this will be something like this. Okay, with a nice little trap in between and something like that. We will kind of start short squeezing within today. Maybe it's on market open. We shall see. Okay, and then there's a strong push up to the areas around 96. Then there's a nice little liquidation trap, nice little pop. Okay, and then we get going to the 100K. Once we get here, guys, everything changes again. Everything, growth comes through everywhere. Everything just goes crazy again, and all those other fearful emotions will start being removed. There's on alts as well. Alts are just sitting a step behind of Bitcoin. Bitcoin is sitting at resistance now. Altcoins are still going into resistance, meaning that altcoins will be a 2 to 3 day delay on Bitcoin. However, they will join the party. And when they join, the bigger gains are obviously coming within the altcoins. Okay, there is okay, so this is still the ETH play for me. You guys know I'm busy building lower leverage, building my positions as much as possible, spots, all of this. This is what I'm preparing for. Okay, ETH has a lot of support between this 1.5 and 1.6. And again, my next pop takes me to $2,100. Okay, then a shake, but ultimately my big goal is to get us to $2,600 to $3,000. Right, that is my play over there on ETH. This is Sol. Sol is starting to look good. Sol has a wall at 145. That's why it kind of keeps halting here. Once it pops through here, I see a pop to around 180, then a shake. But then the goal is to get back to the $200 to $220 range on Solana, right? Ondo is still one of the really good buys right now. I got a couple of new alts here that I'll speak about over here as well. Okay, but there's Ondo, good spot buys, just accumulating sideways, broke the trend. We're just waiting for a nice strong pop. Again, an Ondo pop for me gets us around 1.1 to 1.2. Okay, Sui is starting to look good, breaking trend today. Therefore, this was not available last week because we were waiting for the trend break. Now you have a Sui trade available. Okay, so I won't buy Sui much more than 2.4. Okay, but Sui is in a great spot buy zone, right? Your stop loss goes right below this low over here. So your stop loss is sitting in the areas of around 2.06, 2.07. So this is why it's spot and not leverage. Okay, leverage, you've got to put a lot tighter of a stop loss. Where we're popping to next, okay, once it gets through these areas, I'm looking at $3, right? So Sui is definitely one of the leaders right now. Algorand, remember I spoke about this trade. Once we get through these resistances, we're then popping to 30 cents and we've got 40 cents over there too. Big trades, right? So this is still hovering beautifully and just sitting into resistance. A token that has woken up finally today, right, is Cardano. So Cardano's finally come to the party. So remember last week we only had about 10 altcoins that were breaking trends. Okay, now we look this week and look how some other coins are starting to catch up. So now they're available. So I told you guys that wait for the trends to break and then they become available. Right? So here is the trend line on Cardano now, breaking out. There's a buy zone. There's a buy signal on Cardano, and there's your stop loss. Cardano, where do I see a pop? The first one to 80 cents, and then we have the areas of up to 90 cents to $1, right? So there is Cardano. Say is looking strong, guys. Say is looking good, and this is, again, one of my favorite trades when it comes to size-wise, okay? As I see a very strong, nice pop coming. And I see overall the next move over the next couple of days, the week to a couple of weeks maybe, is the 36 cents. So this is a nice 100% trade that I'm preparing for. What I like about it now too is it's obviously breaking out a trend. It's very close to a short squeeze, but the risk is not too bad as well. So if I look at the risk of this trade right now, and if I want to put a stop loss under the lows, I'm looking at a 7 to 8% risk. That's how much I'm going to risk, right? And if I look at the reward of this trade over here, it's up to 100%. Okay, so it's worth 10 times more. The risk, the reward is 10 times more than the risk, right? So that's a good trade. That's good odds. That's really good risk management when it comes to that over there. Casper, guys. So we gave this to you last week. Again, it just shows you again that every altcoin is on its own time trajectory, right? Once the total 3 starts breaking out here, you should start to see a overall altcoin move. But you will always have altcoins that will outperform different altcoins on every day. But one thing that's very important to understand again is they're all just following this recipe, right? So just keep focusing on the recipe of what, like, if you missed this token now, you're not sad why you missed it. You're looking at what happened that I can catch the next one to do this, right? What did it do? What did it repeat? What did it break? How did it give me these type of areas? So here again, we caught this beautifully. Again, this is a descending wedge, so it's a bullish pattern. Where a lot of people are getting bearish and flying out of crypto. This is actually bullish that is forming, right? And secondly, it started at short squeeze. So remember, if you look at this over here, you could see very clearly that this thing was basically losing levels, right? When price came down, it lost this level. You see that level that was support? It lost it, turned it into resistance, broke down, turned this one, okay, over there. And look how this thing just went where the bears had this level, okay, claimed it, broke it and tested it, claimed. Broke the next level, broke it, tested it, claimed. Broke the next level, right? And you could see clearly how the bears won. But it's also clear to see that this is where they were sitting. This is where the strong wall was sitting. So the moment you break this wall, look how fast price is starting to move now. That's exactly what we want to see. That's how we want to see it on Bitcoin. That's just how we see it on the alts. That's why it's so important for you now to just pay attention to alts that are sitting in that little bucket over there, that's sitting in these tops here, because now this thing should free flow all the way to this 11, 12 cents, all the way straight to the tops over here, right? Therefore, when you go back to the alts again, you look at it again, you say, oh, that gives me an idea on Cardano. Once we get through here, there's that squeeze, okay? And again, what's going to happen is at some point, the bears are going to get extremely punished, guys. Those who are shorting recently, and those that were who basically short and got it right, but continued to short, they are going to get wrecked just as bad as those who buy the tops. There are people that are shorting the bottoms right now, right? And therefore, there is money to be made if the market goes up. There is tons and tons and tons of liquidation. So that's what you see over there on Casper. Well done to those. I would not touch it much more now when it comes to great entries. Okay. If you want for the long term, I still think it's cheap. Here is AVAX. AVAX is in a really, really, really good spot. And here's obviously Dogecoin as well. Dogecoin is now available for buys, guys. Why am I saying it's available for buys? Because it's breaking trend. Okay, but secondly, why is it giving me a skew box here? Secondly, the risk is good. Okay, so if you had to buy this now, it is quite clear that once we get through this zone over here, we're going up to these areas over here. So this is going to be a pump up to 23 to 25 cents. Okay, nice move. Okay, and again, you just look at the risk to reward, which is really good over here. Because where would I put a stop loss? Right below the low over here. Okay, and remember, I'm putting a stop loss on trading money. Money that I have on exchanges, okay? Other money that I have sitting in wallets, they don't have stop losses. That's my long term, right? Something I'm building over the next 10, 20 years, okay? But when it comes to trades, anything that's sitting in my exchanges, money that I'm moving in and out, because that's the only money that sits on exchanges for me is money that I'm actually trading. Otherwise, I don't have any exchanges, okay? That's where my risk will be and stop loss in, and the reward is big. Okay, let's go through a couple of others. Fartcoin. Now, again, I don't think it's a buy right now, but I want you to see how beautiful this plays out. The moment we break a resistance over there, look how we pop, right? Not only that, look how we turn it straight into support, break out into support, now we break in the next one. And I just want to remind you over here, I just want to show you that you see these previous highs over here. It gives you a good area of where price is going to get next when it breaks an important one. Okay, so when it broke this one over here, it was quite obvious that the next one was going to go over here. And that's exactly where price went. Okay, now it's broken the next one. So where's price very likely to go is to this one over here, right? And then when it gets through that one, then this thing's going back to all-time highs. So it really shows you that there are steps that we got to pass, but there's a certain point where it just, there's no more resistance. The shorters are wrecked. Whoever was selling or holding this coin back are gone. It is now time to go, right? So I spoke about Fartcoin being a good thing, but I just want you to pay attention to the pattern here. So I wouldn't buy this personally much more now, but I do think Fartcoin is going to be one of the leaders, right? It's quite interesting. For the older alts, right? We cannot deny them now. Older alts outperformed a lot of fresh alts, right? The last pump. Here's H-bar in a nice little breakout for you. So keep an eye. You can put a stop at the bottom. H-bar's next move probably to the mid to late 20 cents mark over there. GRT is in a nice breakout zone over here. Okay, once it pops through here, which it's sitting right now, it's then going to pop to the 11-cent mark. If we get through there, then the 13-cent mark. So this could be a nice one just to trade if for those who are looking some trades. Popcat, guys. I think Popcat can be a spot buy if you like memes. Okay, me personally, again, I'm not crazy meme unless you're trading them and they're blue chips. And I do think Popcat's one of the blue chips. Good for trades. For me, investments, not really, right? Not interested. But look at that. Short squeeze about to happen. Okay, after here, your next area is the 55 cents, and then we got 76 cents. So yes, there is a nice Popcat bounce incoming and a nice short squeeze incoming. So that looks good over here. Guys, if you did want to buy a breakout like this, the same thing is you would just go pop your stop loss under this last big candle. And then once it breaks out, let's say it does something like this, either does this, okay, if this happens, it breaks out, retests, and it breaks here, then you move your stop loss. So once it breaks the high over there, then you move your stop loss to entry, right? If it goes the other way, where all of a sudden this thing just decides to rip through here, push through here, then you can move your stop loss to entry. So that's the main thing as well, guys. Let's learn a little bit better, okay? A lot of us were in profits the last leg up in November, right? We can all say a lot of us were in profits. We just didn't move our stops up enough, right? We shouldn't have lost that much money. You know, we could have given back gains. Yes, we shouldn't have lost too much money. So again, just work out a nice strategy that when you buy and it starts to play out, just when do you pop this thing up, right? When do you move it up? When you just get yourself out of some risk or even a little bit of profits. Very important. Keep our eye out on this one today. Sonic's getting ready for a pump. Okay, and it will be to around the 80-cent mark. So it's a nice big pump incoming. Just keep out on this trend. So this one hasn't broken trend yet, but we are 2 hours away here from a 12-hour. If we close out, or even the daily out today outside this trend, it's going to be a buy signal tomorrow. So just keep an eye out on Sonic over there. I see Chainlink's also in a good buy zone. Breaking out of the trend there. Nice touch trend. Okay, and once it gets through here, it's looking to pop back to the late $17, $18 mark. That's a nice short-term trend. But overall, we should actually make our way back on the higher time frame to the mid-20s. Okay, so there's a nice Chainlink move over there. And a token that has just woken up, okay, that you kind of want to wait for a little bit of a retest here is Polygon, right? It's Matic, right? Is what I know it as, Matic, right? There's the breakout. So this thing has been coming down and down and down, but there's a nice move incoming back to the 50 cents. And I remember that Matic was actually a very strong leader last year, right? Matic was a strong leader. I think it was last year, even the year before. Even the bear market held incredibly well. It actually had a very poor bull market yet. We've never actually had a bull alt-season market yet, right? But it didn't do too well in the rest of the market. Now this thing is breaking early, putting in a good day over here. And it looks like your nice spot buys over here are between this 20 cents and the 22-cent mark for a spot buy, right? And a nice little stop loss at the bottom over here. And this could end up being a nice 100% trade, okay? So that's looking good over there too. Okay, guys, I want to quickly pop on Matty over here. I know he's probably working crazy hours. Matty, how are you, sir?
Hey, buddy. How are you, mate?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Well, very well. Very well.
Good. Are you seeing anything interesting? And secondly, I want to ask you what the hell's going on in Club? I see people are making money on shorts there at the moment. I see Club people are getting very happy. What's happening in Sniper Club?
Mate, it's all happening. Let me share my screen and I can show you a couple of things, mate. Just to
cool, brother. And then, guys, in the interim, put your altcoins in the comments, and I'll go through you guys' altcoins once we are done over here as well. Okay.
All right. Yeah, so we've got heaps going on in there. We're doing a lot of short-term trades at the moment, so scalping and day trades, just because we haven't had that, we haven't seen that trending market yet, like you were just talking about, because now we're only just getting them breaking these daily trends, like you said. So we've got a number of channels in the club there, in the Discord, that you can see. This is one from our scalper, Israel. He's been an absolute fire lately. So he's been here on a ton short. A nice little call there on a ton short, hit every TP along the way. Another one we've got here from Israel again was a couple of long positions here. You can see here, Radium, he got 160% profit. He traded it. Yeah, there we go. So it's had each TP, 50%, 70% TP, 127, and then 160. So he took 4 amazing TPs on that. So plenty of money to be made. Another one here. This is a Bitcoin scalp he did, 80% profit. Okay, he tweeted out that he was taking the trade. He's put it all in the club. And then we've got one from the OG. We got one from Bruce here. Back in the game, a towel long from Bruce. Okay, beautiful little trade here. Look at that. How's that for a risk to reward?
Wow, incredible.
Amazing risk to reward on that. And Bruce and I are running a competition in club at the moment, just to try and keep people trading and to keep them ticking the dollars over. It's called 20 and 7, where we want to increase your account size by 20% in 7 days. So Bruce and I, being on opposite time zones, me in Australia, him in the United States, we're kind of piggybacking off of each other. If I've done some trade calls, he manages them while I'm asleep, and vice versa. And so we've had a banger yesterday. We had a couple of shorts here. I made these calls yesterday. I went live on the Discord stage, and we did a couple of shorts yesterday, and I woke up to some nice little profits. So they were actually the Sui short hit within 15 minutes. So that was an absolute banger last night, in and out, So my account started on about $3,000 that I'm trading with. It's now on about 3,700. So
nice, very good. So you guys are just continuing to push hard there. Amazing.
We are, mate. We've also, just one last thing, buddy, is we've created this nice little landing page here now for everyone. So if you click on the link down in your description of Sheldon's show here, you'll see we've got this nice little landing page here. So you guys can check out what club's are all about. There's a little video here from Sheldon explaining it. And we've got lots of things in here. All these different things going on in the club, talking about trading strategies, portfolio management, psychology. We do daily market updates, all that sort of stuff here. We've got this is some of the team here, as you can see. Sheldon, Mama Sniper, etc. Myself, Israel. And then we got some beautiful testimonials members. So check it out, guys. It's all going well in there.
Thank you, Matty. I'm going to see you in Dubai, sir. I'm excited.
See you on the weekend, buddy. All right.
See you on the weekend, bro. Thank you so much. Thank you. Lots of love. Okay, guys. So again, massive shout outs. And I actually want to show you guys something. Remember, I keep talking to you guys about an indicator that's launching, right? I'm going to give you 2 investment signals that the indicator has just dropped, right? Now look at this indicator. This thing powerful. Something that I'm building that no one knows. It's basically, I know people struggle with charting, so I kind of want Sheldon to chart for you with non-emotional Sheldon. So Sheldon, he's a robot, right? It doesn't matter where he's at, how busy, whatever, you will get his full tier. We've just got a buy signal on an investment entry, weekly chart on SUI. Okay, we've got a buy signal on Dogecoin too. That has just come fresh, right? It's even got a nice stop loss area over there for you, okay? But this is going to run. Plus, this indicator is also going to give you TP. So I'll let you guys know as the weeks go by on TPs on these trades, but just giving a nice little heads up here. The powerful indicator, okay, has just given us 2 big weekly buy signals on SUI and on Doge. Guys, who wants their charting to be done for them? Because this thing even lifts your stop loss for you. It even tells you when to TP. It even tells you when to do all of these things, right? It's incredible. So big shout out to Club. Yeah, Sniper Club over here. Join. Click on the club link. Go look through the page over here. Join club. Join the community. And also, again, they're going to be the ones that get this indicator first as it launches. We're looking at a launch either by Friday this week. Otherwise, next week, midweek, it'll be done. We just final testing on it, making sure we're all happy. Okay, let's go through people's tokens. Maddie. STX. Let's go. Block stacks. Okay, next one. Pixel. Let's do 1 from each person. Yeah. Then it's fair. Perth. Okay, next. Gala. We need a gaming rally. It's been too long. Okay, next. Velo. I think I had Velo here. Velo's doing well. Okay, let's go through it. Let's start with Velo over here. Okay, so Velo, nice V shape. Right, so V-shape recovery is what you want to see. Okay, now there's 2 plays the way this works. It's still below a short squeeze wall though. Once it gets through this wall, you're looking at the mid 2 cents, right? So there's a big trade incoming that's happening, but it still has, the bears are still kind of in control of this token over here. And then what you have as well is you kind of have the area of where bulls are holding right now. So I just want to show you the 2 plays. So here's the 2 plays on Velo over the next, couple of weeks or couple of days. Okay, the first one is we kind of reject here, the wall still holds. Then you're going to look at something like an inverse head and shoulders, right? So the V shape is right, but it has one more little trap. When something recovers and you get excited and then it traps you one more time to kind of make you doubt, that's exactly it over there, right? So from there, that's the first play. So your buy zones here are basically between the 0.1.2 and the 0.1.3. Those are good zones. So that's the first play. Second play is obviously market wakes up now. You'll kind of see something like this, a little trap, and then we'll get going. Okay, so there's 2 ways I'd buy this. I'd wait for some money over here, and I'd maybe buy a little bit on the breakout as well. Okay, so that's Velo. Okay, block stacks. Let's get through on stacks. Okay, so waking up nicely. Cool. Let's see. So let's pop in the important trends. There's the trends, right? It actually looks like it's one token that wants to start its little short squeeze. There's a break in that level there, and the next areas are this area over here. Okay, so again, the way I'd wait for this, if you wanted to buy more, you kind of let it ride. That is your buy zone. Okay, or again, we are still in resistance. This thing might drop off here to this and then get going. But if you zoom out here, there is some good entries here for a big move, because overall on higher time frame here, we should actually make our way to the main trend. So I want to show you guys where the main trend is down there. Okay, and it's also showing us that there's a lot. So this is the area here. I always look for multiple tools that are showing me one area. The trend showing me there, the support and resistance, and obviously the RSI when we get there too. But the bigger move here is to up to $2, guys. 1.8 to $2. So yes, that's looking good. Okay, Perth as well. Nice. The only problem with Perth is there's no higher high yet. So until a token has done a higher high on a higher time frame, just know that it can always, reject and still come down pretty hard. So this is where it needs to get now. It needs to V-shape this, then maybe a rejection and a pop, okay? Or we go straight through and then we get going. On the high time frame, I think this is a good investment token right now, definitely. We're looking at probably V-shaping this entire move. The first area is to 40 cents, the next one to 55 cents. So there is up to a 200% trade incoming here on this token. So I would focus less on trading it short time and more trading it long time, or longer time frame, higher time frame. Okay, and this is currently on higher time frame. It's in good buy zones over there. Okay, let's go. Gala Games. So Gala is starting to break this trend. So it's in short term. You want to trade today. It is in some good buy zones. It's got support on the left, breaking trend. So your stop loss will be around 0.148. 0.0148. Okay, so your stops again, I'm always going to show you so that you can see it yourself. Pop your stops below over there. Boom. Okay, and where we should start rallying next is the first highs here at 20 cents, but we should start making our way up a little bit higher to the top of the band, which is up to the early 2-cent mark. So yes, that is a nice 30-40% short time. High time frame, this thing has done the same thing for the last while. So it's very likely that as an investor, where you are buying now, you are buying to go back to the range high again, because this token is doing the same thing, right? It has done it multiple times now, 4 times, same thing. So as a range investor trader or someone that just wants to make some money, right, this is a good buy. This is something to show you here that the last 3 times that it's done this, it has done a 400% pump. So the next area to the top here is up to 300%. So yes, this is a good spot, higher time frame. Leave it. You're buying it at a place now where there's like no one left in it, right? And people are really done here. So again, the bears are holding here. Once it gets through here, short squeeze happens, and then FOMO happens. This is very much a FOMO token. People kind of see this thing on the bubbles. They see it moving, and they kind of FOMO into it. So you want to get into it before the FOMO starts. Okay, that's Gala over there as well. Okay, guys, lots of love to you all. I'll see you tomorrow. Hopefully we start popping. Again, 2 plays on Bitcoin. Okay, the first one was we reject here. Remember, we reject. Why? Because why not reject one more time? We reject here, we drop off to the mid 80s, and then we get going. Boom. Okay, your altcoins will hold supports and hold the areas, the important zones that I spoke about. Okay, second scenario, at any point we pop through this high, we should pop off to around 95,000, then a little trap, and then we get going. So again, trade tokens that are outside of trend, trade them in buy zones, don't chase pumps, keep your heads focused. Lots of love. See you guys all tomorrow. Goodbye.